Hey guys, it's Tombox. Welcome to MST.TV. I know it's a bit of a Spyral season, so this is going to be the Spyral N-board variation video combo. And there's a deck profile at the end of the video this time, so it's a bit of a variation of my own video as well. So I'll be demonstrating a couple of combos to you guys. The standard combo, the one that where they're going to Curious to kind of fetch out a Floodgate out of the graveyard just to stun you up because they know the matchup, and not letting you play Yu-Gi-Oh is all part of making you feel like crap. And maybe I'll just demonstrate like maybe perhaps a bad hand where you have to normal summon and burn out the drones right away. So we'll look into that one as well and explore the various avenues. What if you have additional extenders, stuff like that. So make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you want more stuff like this, and let's get into this. So Spyrals are super consistent because they can open a variety of these cards and they will get to the same end board with Appaloosa, Trigate, and the Trigate cannot be destroyed by battle because of a Phoenix, and Trigate has the full negation with triple co-link, and they will have a sleeper on the side giving you a very tough time to break the board. It's so easy. It's just a combination of Magician Souls with Rescue, Magician Soul with any of these other cards down here, and they can actually get really far. It's very difficult for most people to break, which is why they're probably the strongest deck of the format right now and really well represented, which is why this card is like so expensive. So that's the breakdown. As for these three cards down here, they are just the extra cards that are going to be in my hand so that I cannot use them for extension, and I'll talk about that right now. So first combo is the basic one, which we've seen many times, but make sure you guys check the timer of how long it takes to execute the combo, because by knowing how long the combo takes to execute, you can check whether or not you are going to play into time or whether or not you should scoop early, stuff like that. Because if you know you can't break the board, don't waste time. Get into the next game because you're going to need it, because if they take this long, you're going to have a very rough time. All right, let's do it. All right guys, start the timer. This is the Spyral 2020 standard combo with Magician Soul and Rescue. Starting off with Magician Soul, activate the effect, pay the cost. Master Plan goes to the graveyard, special summon itself using the effect of Magician Soul for cost, and we'll draw a card. Cool. Not very useful. And now we're going to use the effect of Rescue, special summon out the Master Plan. Master Plan, don't forget to activate your effect. If you miss it, you're going to lose. Get the Rescue into hand. I'm going to show you guys how to extend past that with the Foolish Burial right after this. And okay, so now we're going to link these two off and barricade board blockers. So searching is typically part of this. Avoid shuffling the deck if you want to gun through the combo as fast as you can. Chain link 1, Master Plan. Chain link 2, barricade board blocker. Pay the cost with the Rescue, and now proceed to search your field spell. And no, that's not the field spell. Field spell and quick fix. Oh, there they are. So now you have quick fix and field spell, and of course during the end phase you can remember to add a continuous spell or a field spell back to your hand. So now we're going to activate Rescue, special summon out the Master Plan. Master Plan effect, we're going to add Assault this time, and this way we can summon out the drones later, and you can even put the Resort right onto the field right away, because you can prevent yourself from being targeted by Effect Veiler or Impermanence, keeping your combo a little bit safer. You can also now activate Quick Fix, summon Quick Fix, normal summon, and add the drones. And now proceed to link summon these two off into our double Helix. Helix right now doesn't really know what your opponent is playing unless it's like game 2 or 3. You can take a solid guess if you want, but you don't have to. Use Quick Fix effect, pay cost to discard the Assault, special summon into the field. Effect of Quick Fix, not hard, once per turn, makes it really useful. Add the car. Now you have the car in your hand. This is still your hand here, and with that, this is going to get banished if it leaves the field unless we use it for an Exceed summon, and we're going to go ahead and banish the Assault, summon out the drones. Now we can perform that Exceed summon pretty easily. Now we're going to stack the deck. It's going to be a monster up top. Double Helix effect, call it. It's a monster now. We get our summon. If you don't have an arrow, you can add the monster to your hand instead. So that's just the option. We're going to summon out the Master Plan because we need the numbers in the graveyard. Master Plan effect, add the copy of Rescue. So that's your last copy of Rescue, and now we start to manipulate the board to the Appaloosa. These two monsters can go to Appaloosa. This effect will still go off if you have the field spell in the graveyard. It's just your choice, really, if you want to do that and want to hold the resort. And now we're going to go into Appaloosa. Appaloosa right here, so we can just have some zones to play with. Next, we are going to need to bring out our monster back, but firstly, we're going to go into this Recital Starling, detach the Starling, So before the detachment installing effect, boost the Appaloosa by 600 for each material, 300 per material, so that's 600 boosted is 22. Detach the quick fix now to add the DD Crow. You can't add Drone Lockbird, that'd be crazy. And so now we want to put this into the graveyard, but the only way to do so is that you have to play red car. There is a reason for that, is because Quick Fix can't summon itself without the agent, so you're just going to get yourself the double helix back onto the field. Don't worry, you're just going to get rid of it anyway. And with that in mind, you can now throw the rescue into the graveyard to summon out your Quick Fix. This is now really is going to get banished this time, and we're going to add Last Resort. Now, this stuff is your hand, that is actually on the field. And with that in mind, you can just turn most of these monsters and just go ahead and link them all off, and you can make yourself a Tri-Gate Wizard. The zoning wouldn't really matter as much because it's just free summons at this point. Now we're going to go ahead and activate Rescue, and we're going to special summon out the double helix to this arrow, and now we're going to link these two off. This one gets banished now, and now we can summon out the Phoenix. The order itself, it can repair itself all the time. This is actually in the graveyard now. And use the effect of Resort. Add yourself the copy of Sleeper. Okay. And with Sleeper, you can go ahead and summon out Sleeper by banishing out 3 of your cards. So you get your car, your master plan, and I'm pretty sure you have a second master plan in there that you're not likely going to revive because you've already banished most of your missions. So those can go, summon out your Sleeper, and activate Last Resort, and put this onto the field. So that's the standard combo with these are your interactions. You guys have seen this a million times. I've just basically done it in like a kind of a first-person view so you guys can see it and execute it yourself. But Tom, what is this thing about this foolish burial? Okay, we're just going to rewind up to the point where you just got the master plan effect, add the rescue from the deck to the hand, and we're going to use Resort right away because we're going to bounce it back to our hand very shortly. So we're going to use it to add the Sleeper to our hand so that we don't forget, because remember, this once per turn, we just used it for protection earlier. We haven't used the Search effect just yet, so we're going to add the Sleeper to hand, and now we're going to activate the Foolish Burial. With the activation of Foolish Burial, we're going to throw our Zephyros, the Elite, into the graveyard. And you guys, if you don't do this in the correct order, you're not going to be able to put the Abyss Dweller onto the field, completely shutting down your opponent's access to the grave. So with that in mind, we're going to activate Zephyros, putting back the Resort back into my hand, special summoning this card out. It's fine, you're going to manipulate your zones anyways. Activate the Resort once again, activate the effect to add the Super Agent. This gives you 2 level 4s to play with, which is pretty cool, I guess. And then we're going to manipulate the zones right now. So we're going to go ahead and overlay these 2 into our Recital Starling. This part is still the same. Starling effect, boost the Appaloosa, so that now Appaloosa is 22. Detach the Quick Fix to add the DD Crow. So with that in mind, we need to open a zone right here specifically so that we can give a zone right there. So we're going to activate our car, our big red that we searched from Quick Fix earlier, and summon out the double helix. This gives you the zone right there. Or if you are doing on the other side, you have to summon it right here so you can open up on this zone right here so that you can put your Sleeper on the other side. So with that in mind, we opened up a zone right there. And with that, we can summon out our Super Agent. We already know that the top card is a monster, special summon it out, and now we can overlay these 2 into the Dweller. This is the only way, depending on where you put your Appaloosa, you might have to do it on the other side of the board. And we're going to get rid of the double helix anyway, but first off, we're going to activate Quick Fix's effect. We're going to toss it into the graveyard and summon out Quick Fix because we now have the Agent again. And Quick Fix effect, we're going to get ourselves the Last Resort. And with this, we can manipulate it so that we can get the Tri-Gate. But first of all, we need this back in the graveyard because this needs to sit here. So we're going to start with the Quick Fix and the double helix. And with that, we go into our Tri-Gate Wizard. Okay, so we got our Tri-Gate. And now we can link these 2 off into our Phoenix. And of course, we still have our rescue in the grave, and we can special summon out the double helix, giving ourselves the extra zone that we typically wouldn't have. And now we can do the whole Sleeper for the rest of it. Oh, this also goes to the graveyard because whatever that was equipped, it was already sent. So we're gonna banish this. and a master plan, and probably the other master plan, so that we can summon out the sleeper. And now we can use last resort, equip onto the sleeper, and so we have DD Crow. Now these are just extra because if this is how much further you can get if you have the other cards that you needed to disrupt your opponent. So now you have an Abyss Dweller plus Trigate plus Appaloosa plus Sleeper. No targeting on these guys or these guys, and of course you have a DD Crow for the graveyard. And these are just additional cards that you can use if you have the utility why you can bounce a card. So this is pretty sick. Problem with this board is if this gets like baited out and then you get evenly matched, well, GG anyways. Okay, combo number 2, actual combo number 2. We're gonna put Antispell and we're gonna set it onto the field. This is a variation of the Griffin combo, the Griffin Trigate, which locks people out of their monster effects. So you don't really even need to use Appaloosa. They're gonna struggle to use special summon effects anyway, and Antispell just secures it so that spell cards can't be hit. And then I'll show you one that does use Foolish Burial Goods, and the other which does not use Foolish Burial Goods, but will require you to expend a little bit more in terms of your monsters. Let's start with the basic one first, and then we'll rewind time and try again. And starting off with this one, we're going to do Quick Fix plus Magician's Soul. So normal summon out the Quick Fix, and we're going to add the car, Big Red, special summon out the Magician's Soul to, well, dump the Master Plan. We're going to activate Big Red to special summon out Master Plan. Master Plan's effect, we're going to add one of our Assault to our hand because we're summoning out drones right away. We haven't gotten to the Helix part yet. Use Magician's Soul's effect, send this to the graveyard to draw one card because you can. And don't forget to do that. It's like a free plus, though. Why would you want to miss out on that? And then you just go ahead and do the Barricade Borg blocker. And Barricade. And Barricade effect. And also Master Plan effect. Chaining 1, Chaining 2. Send this, and you're going to add yourself the drones and the resort. Okay. With those two added, I'm just gonna get this one out of the way. We're just gonna add the sleeper because it does have a sleeper resort and all the good stuff that comes along with it. Banish the assault, special summon out the drones. Drones make it a monster. Cool. This now gets linked away into our double helix. Double helix effect. It's a monster. Of course it is. And we summon out our second out master plan. Second master plan, activate effect, add the rescue. And from here, we're going to discard this to activate Quick Fix to summon itself out. Activate the effect of Quick Fix to add the last resort. Try to summon out Quick Fix in defense mode in most cases because you could potentially die if you leave it face up or if you get disrupted. And now you have a rescue in grave. From here, we're going to make our Trigate Wizard right away. So we're going to use the double helix and the master plan. We're going to make ourselves the Trigate Wizard. And we're going to banish the rescue, summon out the master plan again. Master plan effect is basically just going to cycle as free link fodder as we just climb up. So we add ourselves the rescue. From here, if you have additional spell cards, set whatever spell card you need, like this upstart, because we want to try to keep last resort alive because we don't want to get impermanence by our opponent and we don't want to get baited out. So this is pretty essential to keep on the board. Set whatever that you need, unless Call by the Grave is more important, then you can choose to spin away your last resort. So from here, we're going to take Borg Blocker and Master Plan, and we're going into the Unicorn. Unicorn effect, we're going to send this away and spin this or this back into the deck, and then you're just going to draw a card anyway. So in any case, we'll just say we draw the same card again. Cool. And it's just an upstart. So now we're kind of back in the same spot, and we're gonna banish the rescue once again. Summon out the master plan. Master plan. Now we're gonna get into our third copy of rescue. And from here, if you have Foolish Burial Goods, activate Foolish Burial Goods. Throw the anti-spell into the graveyard, and we're going into now Nightmare Griffin. Griffin effect, we're going to send the rescue into the graveyard to reset ourselves the Anti-Spell fragrance. So, Anti-Spell, straight from the grave, and we're going to banish the rescue, summon out the double helix, banish our Quick Fix, go into Linkaribo, And we should have enough material. We still have like 3 cards left in our hand. And, well, technically we have 5 cards in hand, including the sleeper combo. So we're going to get the sleeper and resort out. We have enough material. We have the car, we have master plan, we have drones, and we have another master plan. Let's just get rid of the master plan since we already used up all of their effects. And from here, summon out the sleeper. Right here, and then go ahead and activate resort equip, because make sure it's linked up, because if you don't have it linked up you can't activate the effect of sleeper, which is a little bit of a problem. And if you have additional stuff, you can go ahead and play with it. So this is the one that uses, of course, one of your 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. It's pretty insane. Like, it's just such a good card anyway. So this is the one where you did not need to use the extra body to get into Curious. So you guys might be wondering, oh, how do I even use Curious in this deck? Well, here's one variant of it. Okay, so same opening with Quick Fix, Magician's Soul. We're going to activate our car, special summon out Master Plan. Master Plan effect, go ahead and just add the Assault, because we already burned our normal summon on the Quick Fix. So add the Assault. This is our current hand right now. And in any case, don't forget to use Magician's Soul to send this to grave. Just because it gets detached doesn't mean the monster gets destroyed. It only protects it from battle, so you get the free draw from that, so you can manipulate your hand. Just get free advantage, really. It's your own fault if you actually completely miss out. You can completely ditch it if you want. You can do a different variation of the combo, but you're more susceptible to Ash if you do that. And here we go. So we go ahead and link that off. We go into our Barricade Borg Blocker. And this is going to trigger both of these, and we're going to ditch this, send the Assault to the graveyard, and add the resort and the drones. And we're going to banish the Assault, summon out the drones, and I guess we might as well just use the resort as well. Of course, drones effect, manipulate the top of the deck. Your opponent might Veiler you, so might as well do it. It's just so that you're guaranteed. Don't forget to use this to search out your sleeper. So this is now burnt. Okay, I'm going to tilt it like that. So, from here, you just go into Double Helix. You've already stacked their deck, and it's going to be, in this case, a matchup. It's a spell, and you see that there's a spell that you don't want to kind of mess with, so you go into the Double Helix, call it right. It's a spell card, guys, this time, so we're gonna force our anti-spell out. Or maybe if you have other floodgates like summon limit or stuff like along those lines, just know your matchup depending on whichever floodgate that you choose to run. Master Plan effect, we're going to add our rescue, since that's one of our only options. And with that still on board, our Double Helix acting as our super agent, discard to summon out Quick Fix. Quick Fix effect, we're going to get our Last Resort so that we have our sleeper combo right here. Keep in mind you need 3 Spyral cards to summon them out. We're going to keep this for as long as we really need to, but in any case, we're going to try to push forward now, and we have 1 card in the graveyard, so we're going to... Okay, this time we're going to put Antispell Fragrance into the graveyard using Curious, so it's going to be a bit more expensive when it comes to the monster resources, so we're just going to put this in the deck, and we're going to start off with the exact same play, except that our extender now, rather than being Foolish Burial Goods, it's going to be Super Agent, or any form of Foolish Burial, or something you can just free special summon out from your hand, anything along those lines. Starting off with Magician's Soul, activate, we're going to go ahead and send our Master Plan into the graveyard, special summon out the Magician's Soul, and we're going to normal summon out the Quick Fix. Quick Fix is going to add the Big Red. And with the Big Red added to hand, we're going to activate the Big Red to special summon out the Master Plan. Master Plan effect is going to activate. We're going to add Assault because we're going to be adding drones. So because we can't check the top of our opponent's deck. Although, if you know that you're going to be wanting to use a Floodgate of some sort to force the set, then you should know the matchup. So maybe you don't need this part. Regardless, we're going to use Magician's Soul. We're going to send the car into the graveyard since the attachment of the car is not mandatory, so you can get yourself a free card draw, which is going to be our upstart here. And now we're going to link these two off. The Soul and the Master Plan are 2 spellcasters, and that's going to go into our Barricade Borg Blocker. And starting with Chainlink 1 Master Plan, Chainlink 2 Barricade Borg Blocker, we're going to send the Assault into the graveyard, and then Chainlink 1 is now going to resolve, getting us our Resort and our drones. with the resort and drones. Go ahead and activate the resort in case you're worried about infinite impermanence. That shouldn't be a worry. Something should have happened along the lines much earlier, but with the resort you're protected from targeting. So then we're going to activate that anyway just to get this out of the way, to add the sleeper. So the sleeper combo is still part of this. We're still going to end on something that disrupts our opponent to some degree. At the very least, there should be some level of disruption, and turning off of your opponent from being able to play cards is very essential. And Antispell with Sleeper is a very mean combo. So now we're going to banish the Assault, special summon out the Drones. Drones effect, it's a spell on top, and we don't really want to deal with it, so we're going to put Antispell into the graveyard. To do so, now we're going to link these two together to our Double Helix. Double Helix knows that it's a spell on top. Wow, easy peasy. And get ourselves another Master Plan. Master Plan is now going to start cycling out some of these rescues, and with rescue in hand we have a Super Agent. We're going to discard our rescue to special summon out our Quick Fix. Note that Quick Fix is going to die a little early this time, Quick Fix effect, and we're going to immediately get Last Resort. Don't worry, we already burned our drones. The only thing that you can add in addition would be like a utility wire in any case, but that's just like added bonus to the combo. So what do we do from here? We need to get the card into the graveyard. We have an extra body now, so we're going to use Super Agent. We know that it's a spell, so we special summon out the Super Agent. This is a pretty free summon. And from here, we need Earth. We need a lot of Earth monsters. So we're going to proceed to link these two off. Since they're different names, we're going to go into our Nightmare Cerberus. There's no effect. This is just another Earth. So we have a Fiend, a Warrior, and a Machine. And with that in mind, we can go ahead and make ourselves a Curious. Of course, our Quick Fix is now going to get banished, and we're going to go into our Curious. Lightsworn Dominion, 3 Earths. Effect of Curious, we're going to fetch out our Anti-Spell, dump it to the graveyard. The effect of Curious is also going to mill more cards. If you mill any of the trap cards, that is going to be 100% in your favor. But in this case, we're at 1,000, a Spiral, tough. No good. But it's okay. We have the ability to extend right now. We still have our rescue in the graveyard. We're going to banish the rescue to summon out the Master Plan. Master Plan effect, because we still need a discard outlet for our Griffin, and the Griffin's still going to be co-linked because we still have Barricade Borg Blocker. So we're going to link these two together. Going into our Griffin, and Griffin's going to be linked right here. So we are not opening any zones for our opponent. So we're going to activate Griffin's effect, and we're going to discard the rescue again. And in this case, we're going to add the Anti-Spell, or whatever that you threw into the grave. You can throw Solemn Judgment just to secure it, but this is probably not a combo you want to use Solemn Judgment with, because you're not that fully protected. This is only for locking your opponent out from being able to play, and I only recommend doing so only for that case. Otherwise, save your resources. Do a different combo. Just do the regular triple lock combo, because this one you're really just forcing out like the Floodgate. In any case, now we're going to try to set up the board, because this one is not as strong. You don't have a Tri-Gate, you don't have any form of like massive negation, so you better be hoping that your opponent is playing like a matchup that they can't really handle. If they're playing like a super trap heavy, you might even consider using a Royal Decree just to like deter them from doing something along those lines. And making activate effects very difficult with Griffin, and using Sleeper to control the rest of it. So we're going to banish the rescue now, and we can put back our Helix on the board. I don't know if this part is even necessary. Personally, if I could revive the Cerberus, if you have a Monster Reborn, revive the Cerberus to keep it so that your stuff can't be popped by card effects. And aside from that, you can, I think we even have one more mission rescue that we have, so we don't even have to go with the Helix in this case. We can actually revive the Master Plan. Master Plan can activate and fetch you another copy of Rescue so that you have rescue access later on. But if you have Utility Wire, then go with the Helix. And finally, you can just banish a bunch of cards. So this is already banished for the summoning of this. And we're going to banish away our agent, because we had the agent, and we know that we had the Master Plan, and we also have a car, so we can keep a lot of our other resources available. Special summon out the Sleeper right here, and we're going to equip with the Last Resort you still have about 4 cards left in your hand. Now you have also an anti-spell. So this is one way that you can force the anti-spell out using Curious and trying not to burn too much of your resources. Although you have lost Quick Fix already, but you still can special summon out from your graveyard because you still have Rescue. And proceed to set your Rescue. You can even mess around with against your opponent. You can set the Rescue, use Sleeper to pop the Rescue instead, and add back one of your cards along the way if you do the chain properly. So that's probably what I'm aiming for if I'm trying to do something like this, and I really want to stun my opponent out with like a Floodgate of some sort. Anyways, that's combo number 2 and 2.5. Okay, awkward hand time. You only have the Spyral Agent and the Drone Summon, and you want to combo off. What kind of board can you build with this? It's not too bad, but it's definitely no firewall. And if you have one extra monster extender, which can be luck sacked along the way because of Curious, then you can actually fulfill a stronger board. But let's just play with what we have so far, and we'll just RNG the rest of it. So these two, they come out because normal, special, cool. Now we're going to proceed to get rid of these two. And assuming that you're not going to get Ash, because if you get Ash, yeah, it's pretty brutal. Summon out the double helix effect. Yeah, it's probably a monster because I stacked the deck of your deck. Anyways, now we're going to get into our master plan. Master plan has now been summoned. Master plan effect, we're going to get a Assault. Yes, Assault is important for this part because if you don't go for Assault, you will not be able to summon out your Quick Fix, which is why we're going to Barricade Board Blocker right now. And Barricade Board Blocker. And with Barricade Board Blocker effect, and then Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, we get ourselves a Resort Search and the Quick Fix. So both of these are now in your hand. Activate this just to get it out of the way for now because why not? For now, I just don't want to forget about it, but typically on Appaloosa, you're not going to have an Appaloosa for this particular part. And we're going to add the Sleeper, banish the Assault, summon out the Quick Fix. Quick Fix is now going to add the Big Red because you don't need Drones anymore. Drones is already in the graveyard, so get the Big Red. Hand currently looking like something like this. Set one of your cards right now, just so that you remember it, and activate the Big Red. Big Red will now get the Master Plan onto the field, and Master Plan effect, we're going to add a Rescue. So this is our current hand. This is the part that's a little awkward. Some people don't really enjoy this part because you're losing out on a couple cards. Now this card was summoned out through Assault, so it's still going to go to the graveyard. So we're going to link these two together, and we are going to summon out Unicorn. And Unicorn effect, we're going to have to discard the Rescue we just added, and we're going to deck the card that we set because we want this card in the graveyard in case we don't have enough material for later on, or you want to reset this card, or maybe you want to keep this card, depending on whatever you want. Just I want to keep Resort up because I don't want my my win con to get screwed over by targeting mainly Sleeper. I want to protect the Sleeper, so we're going to spin this card back, which is the Utility Wire. And too bad, so sad. Okay, and okay, so now the Rescue's in the graveyard. We're going to banish the Rescue, summon out the double Helix. This gives me an opportunity to discard a card to summon out the Quick Fix, preferably a spell or trap that you can reset. So Quick Fix is now going to activate, and it's going to retrieve my Last Resort. And you see, this is the awkward position that you might find yourself in. You have a Link 3, a Link 2, and 2 monsters, but you can't really push forward. You can make an Appaloosa and just call it a day. I think we can do better than Appaloosa. I think Griffin might be a stronger option because you lock out more monster effects. In that case, you need to go banish this card to force it into a Linkuriboh, because if you don't go into a Linkuriboh, you won't have 3 darks, and with 3 darks, you can keep the combo going. And there's a little RNG involved, so we're gonna go ahead and link 3 darks, Master Plan, a Spellcaster, Fiend, Cyburst, 3 different types, and this is how you can abuse Curious. Curious effect lets you send anything. We're going to send a Rescue, and we still have 1 Rescue left in the deck. Banish. Well, you put that card out. I guess we have to RNG this. This is the part that's RNG, guys. If we get 1 extra extender, we will try to go into an Appaloosa. And also, this is in the graveyard too. Let's not forget that. And here we go. So 3 cards. Okay, well, we didn't really get our extender. I guess I'll show you the extender if we did have one. In any case, we're going to now banish our rescue, special summon out our master plan effect. We're going to add our last rescue. And if rescue got milled into the grave, then, well, that's pretty good. I guess you get to do something different. And here we go. So now we have this. We want to go into the Griffin now, because Griffin can retrieve some of our spells that we threw into the graveyard. We can even get back our car. And in this case, we are going to link these two. We want to co-link so we get an additional card along the way. So go into our Griffin. And with Griffin, we're going to activate the effect of Griffin, throwing this into the grave. And now we get to set a card back onto the field. So say we set this back. We set our red card back onto the field. And we will also draw one card. Unfortunately, that would have been nice earlier. So we still have our sleeper and our last resort. That's still a possibility we can use. We can keep on extending. We can turn this into something that's a bit harder to kill by going into Phoenix, because this isn't adding very much to anything. If you want to protect the board, you can. I guess this is the part that it starts to deviate. Let's get rid of some of the stuff so we can just summon out the sleeper right away. So we're gonna get rid of our super agent, and we have one of our master plans. And we should, well, we put the card back, so we can just get rid of the drones for now. And these cards gets banished. We summon out our sleeper next to the Griffin, and we can equip the last resort. This sleeper can be positioned here or there. If you want to protect everything from battle, then you would just banish this to go into the Phoenix. But in this case, say I want to go into a Cerberus. I want to banish this. Special summon. Get rid of these two. And let's protect it from being destroyed by battle. So I can do this. So these guys can't be destroyed by card effects. Neither can this, and this can't even be targeted. So your board is safe from like board wipes, like lightning storms and stuff like that. It would have really sucked if lightning storm just wiped your board. So lightning storm can't harm this board per se. That's one way of turning this board into something. So this is kind of like a more awkward hand where you didn't really have too much to work with. You only had the summons, but you still stun your opponent out. If you had one additional monster and you think you wanted to negate monster effects instead, so say you want to put an Appaloosa out onto the field, so rather than going into this when you have the master plan, one additional monster, say you had a Magician's Soul and you were able to summon out the Magician's Soul, you would take these guys and convert them into your Appaloosa. So this is a 3 material Appaloosa with a double pop, and your opponent can't really activate monster effects, or special summon monsters can't activate their monster effects unless they're linked, and you're not really giving them a zone to play with. And this is one other option based off of if you get lucky and you sack into, like, say, what's that card? Zephyros or something along those lines. That's my last demo for you guys. If you open kind of breaking, you want to work with it. Is that how you guys would work with a Spyral drones and a super agent? Let me know down in the comment section. And for the quick profile, we have 3 Magician Souls. Armageddon Knight to throw stuff like Master Plan or Zephyros into the graveyard. Zephyros could extend your combo and even summon a Dugaris, so that if you get crowed or hand trapped up the butt, then you can make a Dugaris and revive the Master Plan anyway and make your combo from there. It's still possible. I play triple Super Agent because dealing with back row is more necessary than ever because Altergeist is a thing. And double Master Plan because you need the extra Master Plan to throw stuff into the graveyard, and you need targets for your Magician's Soul. Sucks to open Magician's Soul and double Master Plan. Let's just say that. And as for Quick Fix, 1 Quick Fix because he's limited, 1 Drones because that's also limited, and 1 Last Resort. So this is the Quick Fix toolbox. You'll eventually search them all out. If you open with 1, it's okay in, I guess, this build because we are running an extra gear. 1 Sleeper and 1 Tough as the remaining agents on the field. And Crow, and Blackwing Zephyros. My little Blackwing lineup here. I think it's important to have the Crows for sure. Double Crow because you want to get this Crow search regardless. And I'm cutting back on using Princess Sprite, so I'm running the Double Crow. You might want to switch out the Zephyros if you're not as greedy as I am. If you want to play a bit more safe, play Drone Lockbird because you want to have some main deck counters against, say, Spirals. Because Spirals is just really, really strong in this format. Into the spells, forming to search out our Spyral Resort. Limited, of course, not hard once per turn. Very key thing here, so they can bounce it back to your hand and reuse it again. Why not? And then as for our Grave Revivers, we have a double Spyral Gear, Big Red, and 1 Monster Reborn. That's just more special summons. The whole deck is about special summoning anyway. If you lock them out of special summoning, the deck is basically dead. We have 1 Rhoda to search out either Armageddon Knight, a Super Agent, or maybe even Tough sometimes if you're in a tough situation. Oh, just kidding. And another 1-for-1 because you want 1-for-1 to dig out either your Quick Fix. Typically just summon out Quick Fix. There's nothing else you really want to summon. Or you can summon out drones if you already have the Quick Fix. It's just an option. Triple Where Art Thou. If you open a level 1 plus this, you typically have the ability to go all the way. You will take a little bit of damage unless you're searching Quick Fix. That's the only one that you'll typically just normal summon. 1 Foolish Burial, essential to get your combos going. If you know what you're dumping into the graveyard, that's good. Zephyros can be like an extra extender. If you want to start the combo, you might want to throw in your Master Plan. Just saying. Triple Foolish Burial, good. This acts as a filler to get to the rescue or anything to summon stuff out of your hand, so you have an assault as well, which is really useful. Double Call with the Grave because I don't want to get a hand trap sometimes, or I want to set this card so that my opponent can't play with their graveyard. It's a good additional card if you draw into it, and if you don't need it, even more so. And we have 1 Spiral Mission Assault and 1 Upstart Goblin because the deck doesn't need to run too much stuff anyways. Most of the cards are already 1-ups. And onto the traps. Okay, only 5 traps. I'm just gonna put it all up right now. So Triple Rescue, because can you play with 2? You can if you want to lose. Yeah, play with 3 because your combos typically, if you're gonna go full out, especially with Magician's Soul, you're going to be burning all 3 in your very first instance. So it's gonna be a bit more greedy. 1 Anti-Spell Fragrance and 1 Spiral Gear Utility Wire. See, my locals, let me make it less glary. My locals has a lot of Mystic Mine, and for those guys who play Mystic Mine, they typically have a lot of things to force your negation, and then they drop the Mystic Mine. And you being a Spiral deck, you burn through half your deck in your very first turn. They can play the deck out game. You can't survive that. Get the Utility Wire. I survived this when I played against Phil because I Utility Wired out his Mystic Mine, and then everything kind of came crumbling down on his part because I managed to hit 3 of his cards rather than just 2. So Utility Wire came in clutch a couple games already. So I do recommend trying it out and being able to spin back some of your opponent's back row because it doesn't just hit like it hits your opponent's face-up cards, but if they have a Floodgate, you can turn them off. So I think that's pretty useful so that you don't just lose, like straight up just lose to Mystic Mine. And that makes for the main deck. Let's check the extra deck. If you guys like the video so far, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and hit the subscribe ding notification bell because it really helps me out, guys, and I can do more videos like these ones as I break stuff down. So anyway, starting with the extra deck, we have 1 Double Helix. I'm not playing 2 right now because I'm being extra greedy, trying out different techs. If I can solidify it down where I don't need some of these extra deck cards, I might fill in for an extra Double Helix because I'm trying to put dragons back on the map right now, and dragons, they can play Trishula and they can rip this card out. If they rip this card out, it's going to be a bit of a rough ride, let's just say that. But anyways, 1 Double Helix for now. And then we have Barricade Borg Blocker, your combo starter, because it's your free discard to get your traps into the graveyard or perhaps your assault. 1 Link Reboot, so that you can convert your level 1s into a dark, or just protect yourself, or you can play like various combos. There's so many variations. A Nightmare Package. I'm going full Nightmare Package. Let's go all the way to the Griffin. I am playing, well, if you haven't seen already, I am trying to manipulate it so that I can get Anti-Spell Fragrance. Depending on the matchup, it could win you the game right away, and I don't want to grind against my opponent with this deck because this deck just steps on the gas pedal and then you run out of gas. If your board gets broken, it's quite tough to come back. Then we have Tri-Gate Wizard for locking people out. Curious to throw cards into the graveyard, namely the trap if you don't have it already. But if you have the trap already, and don't forget the 3-card mill could lead to a trap card, help you extend, but you can also dump your Anti-Spell Fragrance to lock your opponent out. IP Masquerena, so that you have a Unicorn access, just 1 additional interaction against your opponent. I think it's fun to have this, to say the least. And of course, Appaloosa, Borload Dragon. Borload Dragons is, I think, very useful against, say, mirror matches when they make the whole Tri-Gate board. You can just use Borload, take their sleeper, and try to pop their stuff, swing into their stuff too. It's quite interesting, and since this card cannot be targeted by monster effects, it's stickier, and Tri-Gate can't just banish it off the board, so it's a little bit tougher. Then there's Boral Sword. Boral Sword I've made them a couple times, not really necessary. If you're going to be making Borrelsword, you somehow are forced to play a little bit of a grind game to put this one out, because your opponent survived the turn. They didn't just scoop up. You have to find some way to kill them. If they broke your board, then you might expend all the remaining resources into going into this. But you could instead go into Abyss Dweller to prevent your opponent from even getting to that point. So, you know, give or take, you have to make a choice whether or not you want to run that card. It's an optional card. I think Dweller, in a more competitive setting where people are activating a ton of stuff from their graveyard, probably Dweller is a better way to go. And I am playing Dugaris, and I'm only playing Lyra Recital Starling. I'm not playing Princess Sprite. I played it before. I realized I have not summoned it even once, so I decided to give myself a little bit of extra deck space so that I could play other things and minimize it. Again, I'm experimenting with the extra deck space. Dugaris came out 3 times already where I ate a couple of hand traps, but I did open with the Magician's Soul, which allowed me to dump the card into the graveyard, and then I also had an Armageddon Knight to kind of push me the rest of the way there. So that being said, Dugaris, remember, it can even push for damage, which I almost used that effect. I actually misplayed, forgot to use the double damage effect to get the crazy swing. That's unfortunate for me, but it's okay. I used the Grave Summon effect to summon out the Master Plan Defense mode, and it went off again anyway. So this means that 2 level 4s can still mean 1 Graveyard Revival. Yes, you will skip your main phase, but if you're using the Grave Summon effect, just make sure that you are well, you can keep the board alive, basically, and it's usually worth it. We might not even need that main phase. So that's it for the extra deck. Am I going to show you guys my side deck? I don't really want to show you guys my side deck, not right now. This is just a profile talking about the comboing. My side deck is still in the works, but it's still made up of, like, for a quick gist of it, Twin Twisters. I am running 1 Cowboy right now because some people take very long with their combos, and if you're knowing you're going into game 3, might as well side it in, because if they're going to try to do their combo and try to hold the board, maybe just Cowboy for game, or they want to go second because they want to punch for damage, Cowboy for game. Some people I took about, if I'm doing this as fast as I can while doing the deck search, it took me about 5 to 7 minutes, depending if I see it right away or not. So if you know that the combo is going to take that long, and then you expend that much time in your combo, I'm not saying like, oh man, you got to side this in every time, but if you're going into like game 3 and you see that, hey, there's only like a minute, like 4 minutes left, they're taking 3 minutes to side, you just put it in, choose to go first, and well, there you have it. You just find your way to get to that level 4, because level 4s are not obvious, and you can do your Cowboy thing. I'm playing 1 Cowboy right now just because not everyone's very fast at locals, so you can squeeze a win out every now and then. That's all I got for this video, guys. If you guys enjoyed this, well, not profile, but this combo demo about like all the end boards that, or variations of the end boards that Spyrals can make, hit that thumbs up button. If you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, hit the subscribe, ding notification bell. I got a lot of rulings. Well, actually, I already did the ruling video. What do you mean? Check out the ruling video previous, and yeah, there's more about how to crush Spyrals in the next video. So see you guys in the next. I know it's a little bit of a Spyral season right now, but once Spyrals are out of the door, I'll bring dragons back to the forefront. Okay, I'll work on the dragon deck. See you guys very soon.